Hello, hello. How is everybody? Hi, Jace. For a while. Let me go to my profile and copy pasty my thing to let people know that I'm live, even though I don't think anybody ever comes in here from Blue Sky, but you know, if they do, that's cool. I wish that you didn't have to go to work, but I understand that that's not how life works. I just feel like I am in like massive need of a break badly. Oh, Jace, can you go get my glasses? Preferably the like circle lenses so that they don't like constrict my head like I'm gonna die. Although I guess that would be maybe thematically appropriate for this comic because Sun Wukong or something. Yeah, I just need like a break. Yeah,
these, right?
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm like, these are old prescription, right?
What's up?
These are like old prescription, right?
Yeah, they're I need to get the lenses replaced.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, I need to like I don't know, this weekend should be good. I actually don't have like that much work to do. I do feel super bad. I keep having to tell students that I can't just like give them extensions for everything, and I don't know like what is difficult for these. Like I don't know if like new high school is different than when I was in high school, where like if you turned in shit late, your teacher just didn't fucking grade it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you turned in stuff late, or you'd get massively penalized for it. Like it was like kind of a big deal if you turned shit in late. I don't know if that's changed because a lot of these students seem to feel like they can just email me and then I'll just grade stuff, and it's like, no, I went over it at the beginning of class. Like I can't do that. Like I can't just grade stuff like that. I'm just really confused. Yeah, because, like, yeah, teacher and circumstances definitely makes sense. Because, like, of course, if, like, a kid is like, oops, I ended up in the hospital, like, you know, obviously, like, that's not going to be, you know, something that you penalize a kid for, especially if the parent can be like, yeah, here's the hospital note and everything. Oh, speaking of that, I was talking to my mom, Jace, and most likely the thing that we got from the ambulance has not been run through insurance. And so you need to call the number or email them and say, hey, here's my insurance information, my member number, you know, do you need a photograph of my insurance card or whatever, but you can give them your name, the member number, the insurance, and then ask them if they need any other information from you, and then tell them to pay for it through insurance. And then that'll probably fucking fix like 99% of the problem because, yeah, we obviously don't need to be paying a bazillion dollars. And, like, honestly, it makes me wonder how many people accidentally pay that thinking that they ran it through their insurance when that's not the case, and that's not what happened. So that's crazy. But, yeah, that's kind of a Yeah, point being, though, is if a kid's dying, like, obviously that's fine, but I feel bad for kids because they're like, yeah, I had a cold and I took medicine and it made me fall asleep, and then I missed my deadline, and it's like, well, unfortunately, like, you should have done this sooner. Like, I hate to be this guy, but, like... You should have done it sooner. So I don't ever want to feel like an asshole, but it's like, it's starting to get to the point where I'm like, I don't know... I feel like I am on crack. Oh, cool. I missed that the first time, too. Yeah. Because I love how that means that the hospital collected your information, and then they were like, that fucking ambulance probably doesn't need that. Because I was like, no way. Like, because 2K seems like that was the base charge. Which is, again, not unreasonable for what they did, but it just seems weird. And so we solved the mystery, saving money 1 minute at a time. Because I am a brokety bitch, and ain't no way I'm paying full price for anything. Not in this country. Not in this fucking economy. Guys, I just want to go back to writing Gay Gaston. I was in a flow. This chapter was actually really sad. I was, like, working on that right before stream because I'm really behind, but I wanted to, like, get into, that really fast, and, I wrote a chapter out, and it was really good. Because now we're into, like, Act 2, and we're kind of past the, like, pining, longing stage, and now, they're kind of coming to terms with the shit, which is good. Yeah, I'm sure that they're going to send that thing back, Jason. It's going to be like $150. Although, I have to be very careful, I realize, because I'm kind of, like, all of a sudden shit at budgeting, and I don't know what happened, and it's probably just because my paychecks are kind of infrequent for the most part, but I ended up going over budget last month, or this week, and I get paid on Friday, so I just gotta remind myself to, like, not do that. And I don't know if the answer is... I don't want to, like... I don't know, maybe it is. I don't want to have to run to the bank constantly, but maybe the answer is actually physically taking the money out of my account so that way I know. But also, too, I just need to do better math, or I need to have a schedule of when stuff is coming out. If it's come out, I have, like, a spreadsheet, but I probably should add, like... Okay, so here's the bills, this is what's coming out on which day, and then that actually probably would help. That's all I need probably, instead of, I don't know. Being an adult is hard, that's all I gotta say. Math is math. Wow, look at that. Look at this dandelion. This diente de leon. It doesn't look like a tooth. I think that's lies. You don't know me. I just start screaming. my god, people are so annoying. What is with the energy of people today? All I'm learning is that people are on some crackety-ass energy today. What is going on? I need people to fucking mind their business. Ooh, that's red. When you're like working in grayscale and then all of a sudden you have like a thing right next to you that's like bright as fuck. Holy shit. God, I have to do so many of these. Dang it, Wukong. Okay. So first, we gotta go like this. Shift U, Control Shift I. No, that's not what I want. I'm gonna start with this. Delete, and then I gotta go in here like this, and we're gonna erase out the center here. Is this the most efficient way to do this? I don't know. I've officially come up with a name for all of the books that take place in that fantasy universe that Mirror Gaze is in. And I'm calling it the Astroverse after their creator god. Because that makes sense to me. Woo. Oh, I fucked up. I ducked up. There we go. Hello? What the butt is going on? Hello? Hello? Photoshop? You good, girl? Like, what the shit is happening right now? Yeah, that's what I thought. You freak of nature? Okay, what even? That's pretty good. Hey Mark, how's it going? How you doing today? Cool, awesome. I'm sure that'll be a lot more of a favorable answer. You'll get that email back, and then they probably will send you a new estimate in the mail or whatever, or they'll tell you what's going on. And now we don't have to pay them a burdillion dollars. That would be obnoxious. There we go. Holy shit, that's a lot of tiger stripes. Alright. Brilliant. Oh yeah. Okay, so now I gotta go like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. this and like this. Look at that. I'm gonna go... Oh, whoops. Would you look at that? I forgot about this. Better. Merge, select, invert, new layer. Nah, yeah, no, I don't think that that would happen. Most of the time, most insurance covers like 75% of stuff at the very minimum. Like, so it would be like 250 max. Like, I don't think it'd be anything crazy. But you're right though. I think some people just get like ultimately blindsided by that, which is really unfortunate. Because our coverage sucks here in the United States. If we lived literally anywhere else, it would be free. But that's fine. I'm not trying to think about that. When we move to Canada, you can go to the hospital all you want, Jace. It'll be free over there. Or at the very minimum, insanely greatly reduced because we're not Canadian citizens. Like, crazy. Crazy how that works. My mom was trying so hard to get us to not move. She's so funny. Not because she doesn't want us to go, but she's like, she doesn't want to have to drive to Canada. I'm still calling this entire excursion Death Road to Canada because I think that that's really funny. Or like $20. Yeah, right? It's like $1. They're like, you broke your arm, sorry. They pay us for breaking an arm. I tried to explain that to my mom one time, how in Japan, literally, they will pay you to have a baby in some instances. And she was like, that's a lie. And I was like, nope, it's not. Like, I wish that I was lying. I wish that that was, like, something that sounds made up, but that is not true. And actually, they will pay you to have a baby in some places in Japan. Not in all places. But in some places... Because they're like, no, thank you for being a good parent and going to the hospital. What a surprise. Wow. Merge all this together. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Crop. I didn't really have a lot of stuff that I needed to do for this final panel or final page tweaks here. It was really not that much. Actually, believe it or not, I'm gonna do this because there's more of that color on the both of them together. Whoops, and I'm actually not gonna do that at all because that was on the wrong layer. Hello, Photoshop, please. Amigo, please. I like how she has just like claimed ownership of this little flower. She's like, this is mine. She's like, I will be taking this inside while we go fight these cops over my mom. I'll be far away, illuminating now, making moves, starting waves. I've been dreaming about flying for a long time, fishing from the grace they wanna cosign. Actually intelligent new AI. I'm a future, past and present. I'm a fine line, and I'm a mystery of this illusion. I am not really here. I'm an intrusion. I don't swim or sink. I just float. I don't need gravity. I just need growth. This was still one of the best concerts I've ever been to in my whole life. It's like them, Dottie Frere, and probably Grandson for me. Also, Jack Black was funny. Jack Black is at least top 5. Oh, I guess that's an arm. I don't need to be humble. Break down walls like Jericho crumble. Fuse an earthquake rumble. I will never ever fall, never stumble. And I don't need to be humble. Break down walls like Jericho crumble. Okay. But Jace, what if you just stayed here forever? What if we hypnotized them into making them pay you, even though you weren't showing up to work? And we just kind of were like, whoa, 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 and then, like, that's how that worked. And everybody also at work at the place felt like they were getting a massage. Yeah, that is good, though, I guess. Yay for your favorite client or something, but also... Okay. Nope, not that one. Joke's on you. Okay. Mm, mm, mm. Okay. Almost there. Hair. Close. Zoom. And delete. Save. Okay, now we need dialogue. Okay. I'm dying. I don't want a grade assignment. This is unfortunate. It's unfortunate because the student is showing up to my office hours, and I know that she's coming, but then that means she's going to be there for 10 million years the whole time, and we're going to be talking about Pokemon, which is not a bad thing, but I have to grade. So this is where they're ruining me. No, I was just kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh, I need the caption from, like, I have like another page that, like, I had a caption from forever ago. I'm like, which page was it? I think this one. Yeah, I was like, where are they going? Come here, buddy. You're my caption. Spoink! That's the, I'm moving the caption sound is spoink. Just in case anybody was curious. My favorite thing about this entire segment is that they have spent several hours in a bush. It's not just that they were in the bush for 5 seconds. They have been in the bush for several hours. That's a long time. That's a long time to be roughing it in a bush. And even Wukong is like, bro, how long are we gonna be in here? Isn't supposed to be. Some sad song. Come to me. Hello? You're a demon. Okay. Hi, Tess. How you doing? I warned you about those stairs, dog. Just that's all I gotta say. That fucking crept in the back of my brain like a fucking sleeper agent, by the way. I say I warned you about those stairs, dog, like literally all the time. Anytime I'm near any fucking stairs. Bye, Jace. I love you.
Bye, I love you too.
You get done at 6 today?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And then tonight we can have leftovers or something, I
Yeah.
think. Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna have an empanada for lunch, but I'll figure out what to eat.
We'll have to look in there.
Yeah.
We can figure it out. We'll figure
Yeah.
it out. Okay. I love you.
Love you too.
Bye. I was cackling so hard. Yeah, it's like a lot of Homestuck humor was not for me, but Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff was fucking it. That was it for me. I liked Strider. He was probably my favorite character, I think. But I didn't make it very far into the comic. Part of it was like the eye bleed like format. I couldn't do it. I respect it, but I couldn't do it. Nope, I forgot to turn back on the bush in both of these instances. Quick, bush. He needs bush. Bush, bush, bush. There we go. Sure. Let's do this one. I love that I don't ever have to make these. It belongs in the Louvre. I can't. that Boomer website was high art. It's just like literally what pisses me off so bad is that I was so intent on double checking with the client. We had so many Zoom meetings. Like normally when I do commissions for people, I don't include like one-on-one Zoom meetings and things like that in the commissions like that. We do things by email because it's like that's easier for everybody, but this guy was like so intense with his critique and like he was offering a bunch of like really like I know Josh, like my boss, was struggling with it too, where he would offer really contradictory points of feedback where it was like I want something that feels new and fresh but also something that feels ancient and textured. And it was like, sir, what the fuck do you mean? So yeah, it was a mind-bending experience. Oh boy, I don't. I don't know. So I'm still trying to figure out what that vision is. Does that make sense? Hi Gamby, how are you? Welcome in. Yeah, I don't know what the vision was. I don't know. And then this guy in particular, I also have issues with because he's a Reiki practitioner, and he like, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Reiki, Reiki is a type of Japanese healing art that's very similar to Chinese medicine. It's just the Japanese version. It's an energy healing like art overall. There's a lot of usage of like crystals, and there's an emphasis placed on effectively, like, the Japanese don't call it chi because that's different. That's Chinese. But like, there's oh, I don't want an accidental arrow to the ween. We got to go with a different bubble. But yeah, it's a very specific Eastern medicine technique. This dude is white. I'm glad he found a lot of help in Reiki and is now a very practiced Reiki practitioner. So I'm definitely not discrediting his Reiki practice or who he is as like a practitioner. But the problem that I had while working on this was that he like effectively was claiming that he had invented certain aspects of Reiki, like coming up with Reiki symbols and things like that. And I'm like, did he just colonize Reiki? And so that was the energy. But yeah, the Zoom meetings were intense. And then to get done with it, all of that after trying to figure out what he wanted from his site and making sure that he was happy, and he was saying that he was happy and that he liked the website, then to effectively open it one day, like literally me and my boss were going through it, and then he goes, "Oh, the guy changed his website?" And I went, "What? I don't know." And he was like, "Yeah, no, I don't think this isn't what you did, is it?" And I went, "Nope." And my boss was like, "Yeah, I didn't think so. You actually know how to do art?" And I was like, what is happening right now? It was literally, I don't fucking know. I don't know. So it feels, I don't know how to tell the person, like, ultimately, it's up to the client to decide what they want to do, but it is insanely disrespectful as an author, or as an artist, I should say, to have somebody effectively take your work and then just straight up what is the word that I'm looking for? Literally without telling you, just like go over all of your stuff. It's just, I don't know. It was, it gave me the bad touch. You know what I'm saying? So if I was asked to work with that person again, I would not. And like, I guess best of luck to him in his book, but like, bro, it was so bad. I used to cosplay Rose. Oh, yeah. I don't even know what's going on in that webcomic anymore. You're like, I don't fucking know. Hi, Blue. How you doing? Yeah, holy moly. And, like, it's tough, because I can understand where he was going. And it's... I get it. But, like, damn. Oh, it's hilarious. It's hilarious in a painful way. It's just, I think, a good example of, like, people are like, why do artists charge so much? And it's like, because for every, couple dozen great clients that we have to deal with that guy. That's why. That's why. At least Wukong has morals. Look at him. I love this, though. This is such an important line for his character development here. Sean's like, oh, you're a normal, not an asshole? What? We're 242 pages in, and you're not a dick? She's like, that is confusing to me. No way. What in the butt? Hello? There we go. It was like, no, I can't. Oh, except I always forget. There's always that one layer that's doing weird stuff, you know what I mean? I found it. I found the one layer that's always doing that weird stuff, but... Oh, no. Damn. Okay, hopefully when I don't save this out, it won't fuck with the thing here. That's alright. This is in the right place, and that's what matters. I just can't fuck with it. No, I turn this off. I don't need it. Alright. There we go. Oh my god. Well, I'm like, hello? What is going on here? What is happening? Okay. I'm having a snuggly morning. Oh, that's nice. That sounds super good. I got jump scared by like the worst fucking comment of all time on Wattpad this morning, and like, I wish people would fucking think before they speak is really my problem. So I'm still like recovering from that, but other than that, I'm alright. Next, not neck, just like important distinction. I love this angry little Wukong. I need to make this into like a shaker keychain or something. Actually, I think 15 is fine. I don't know. Is it? Please, amigo. Hello? Where did this? There it is. Yeah, thanks. Move this down a little bit. Oh my god, plot twist! Yep, I call Tatsu Mr. Man. It's because he's just a little guy. He's just a little Mr. Man. It makes sense. He's just a little guy and a little man. Wow. I love being able to depict, like, really important character growth and stuff through dialogue in this way. Makes me happy. Was this the right font size over here? Hello? No. God damn it. Hey, guess what? It's time to eat a snack. Have y'all had a snack today? Because if you haven't, you should get a snacky. Don't starve. Starving is bad. Don't do that. Oh, good. Already nomming is the right answer. I need to figure out what I want for a snack. I had some of a bagel, but I was, like, so upset this morning that I, like, didn't really want to eat. So I have to try and figure out how to, like, make myself consume the food. I want to eat another one of those Lindt chocolates. Oh, that sounds like a nice time. That is very good. Oh. I am a fool. Oh, nice. I'm gonna have to... Did you end up going with Book Vault? I'm gonna have to do mine soon, too. I realized I am a silly. I am a fool. And I was like, man, I can't find these boxes for the special edition, you know, stuff with, the Brady series. And I was like, what am I gonna do? And it's like, I literally could have, just gone with Book Vault for all of my hardcovers, and I can pull it off of Ingram Spark. I don't need to put those there anymore. And then if they are good enough quality, then I will just ship all of the series through Book Vault, and then that will be fine. I'm glad that the site is easy to use. I was seeing a lot of reviews that people were like, I hate this website, and I was like, uh-oh. Apparently they have issues with distribution is the biggest thing that I'm hearing from them, is that, like, that's the biggest issue people have with them, but I don't plan on using them for distribution. So, like, that's not really an issue for me. So if that's, like, the biggest problem, then I'm not even worried about it. I don't even have to think about it. Escape. Yeah, right. Well, see, now here's my thing. I've not had a single problem with distribution with Ingram. But that's luck. I'm pretty sure that that's just luck. I think everybody's gonna have a problem with one platform or another at one point in their life. You know, like every author, for example, has horror stories about, you know, Amazon fucking kicking their books and destroying them before they get to you, you know? Like, that's just the way that goes. Or like I had one order of Ingram's stuff come without dust jackets, but other than that, I didn't have a problem with them, and thankfully they were like so good about replacing them. They were just like, oh yeah, that was our bad. We'll ship you a shipment for free, no questions asked. Here you go, and it was just like bing, and then it was just done. You know, they didn't even question. I didn't even have to take pictures of anything. I was just like, hey, these are naked, and they were like, oh. They just took my word for it, which was really cool. Amazon, on the other end, are like, well, you have to return them. I'm like, no, I'm not going to return them. Like, y'all are the ones who fucking broke them. Like, and sometimes if you complain loud enough, they'll just give you a refund for it and not make you return them. But it depends. Really depends. But I'm glad that Book Vault has a functioning site. And also, too, their customer service has been nice to me so far. I haven't really had an issue with their, talking to them, having them answer my questions. You know, everything is pretty easy peasy. Nothing crazy. Oh yeah, it is very strange. Yeah, compared to like Amazon, their template is strange. I will agree with that. I'm very excited to try and get these hardcovers going. I might try and work on that around the holiday season. Because I do want to do a Brady omnibus as well around the 10th anniversary, which is in a couple of years, so. Okay, so there's that. We're done with this. Done with this. Save this. Turn this off. I know these always look like they have so much white around the edges of them, but I promise it's because of bleed. Okay, so now I need to go image, duplicate, and we're going to make 243. And we're going to save this. And then I'm probably not going to get this or through this today, but you know what? That's fine. I wrote an entire chapter of Beneath His Teeth this morning, and that's really all that fucking matters to me. I have decided that writing romance is not as much of a teeth pull as I thought, but I had to be very, very, very specific about the format that I used, and I'm just being as formulaic as possible so that way I don't fuck it up. Their proofing process is also really nice. They make a 3D mock-up for you so you can check things like edges. That's fucking great. Yeah, Amazon could never. I already packed up my stuff for DokuCon this weekend, but they fucked up the spine so bad. I had to tweak the spine pretty bad, but it looks good now. So there's that at least. Oh yeah, because there's a car horn going off on this page. Ah, yes, and now I get to draw Louis Hong for the first time in full. Yes, proofs are so important. But that is nice. The 3D mock-up is nice. And to be fair, the guys that I was talking to about the book boxes, they don't do a sample. But what they do is you send them images of all of the books that need to go in that box with a tape measure or a ruler next to it. So that way they can gauge the size of all of your stuff, and they actually create a little 3D box effectively that is the same size as all of your shit, and then a mock sleeve so that they can make sure that shit fits. And I'm like, you know what? Nice. Like, thanks for doing that, at least. Like, it could have been garbage. I'm gonna do... Nope! That's not what I wanted. I like another one of these. Wukong eyes. Oops, not on this layer. On this one. I want to go watch Batman Spider-Man. Nice. I'm gonna do like an insert shot here. Batman Spider-Man. Oh my god, you know, you're like the only human I have ever met that actually knows Batman Spider-Man. Oh my god. I love Alex and Lindsay Buttera-Small. They're amazing animators. I think I fixed that section in the prologue, so I'm going to try chapter 1 today. Very nice, very nice. Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, I based a lot of my birth and death traditions off of, for like King of Dust, off of the like Romani like funeral traditions, which they were so fascinating to be able to research. I love doing stuff like that. Oh my god, Batman Spider-Man. One is for no, wait. Oh my god, why can't I remember what 1 is for? 2 is for Tuba, or Peanut Bubber. Or 1 is for Tuba, 2 is for Peanut Bubber, 3 is for House. That's all I have to say. Oh my god. What I love about Batman Spider-Man is that apparently started because Lindsay made fun of Alex, how Alex draws hands. It's fucking funny. Good content. And then they got married. So... Sure. Actually, I'm gonna... Oh! What in the butt? There we go. What is happening right now? It's a self-care combo! Stretch, sit up, drink some fluids. Today I have this tea. It's called Aries. It's by a Ukrainian tea maker called Midnight Hour, I think, is the name of the tea. Or Magic Hour? I'm so glad that you love Spider-Man. I love Batman, so... This is a lot of squares on it. I'm not mad about it, it's just like an observation. Welcome back from Adtown. He is my boy. Oh, yeah, architecture and location for me in the Oh, I already had bushes. I'm a fool. Designing architecture for me and like city planning for novel writing is really difficult. Let me figure out how I want to frame her in this. I do love the fact that effectively all we see is Wukong's knee in this and a bunch of bush. I just really want these bushes to be... I want it to be apparent that they are in the bush. It's just like there is so much bush happening right now. You know that moment when you're trapped in a bush? Okay, and then... I need to have Wukong set up in a way that's not weird. Why? That's just all I have to say. This is pain. I am struggling over here, y'all. Okay, we're all right. I did it! Alright, we're alright. A nostalgic urge to describe an embassy suites. I can't. That's so funny. I have some solid ideas for city layout in the area surrounding the castle. Just the castle itself is a struggle. Oh, I see. I like to try and stick with normal castle designs or make something... Oh, yeah, do I stick? I see. Make something completely new, since this is not a society like ours. Yeah, that's a good question. I tend to just draw from, like, a bunch of different types of architecture that I know. You know, it's like... Depends on the culture, inspiration of the area. I'm like, what am I... You know, being inspired by... That's the question. Okay, let's see. Car. Alright, do I have Louis Hong here? I think I did make a model for him. I did. God, he's so tall and so creepy. Truly, this man is a skeleton. Oh, I need to censor this because otherwise Bezos will kill me. He does indeed have a chest, believe it or not. Humans have these things and they're called nipples. Don't you say flying butt at me. Just kidding, just kidding. About the center of that panel. Flying butt! Yeah, that's true. Car drives away. And then... I am lazy. It's me, the flying butt. If only I could be a flying butt. Let's come home. Let me turn... Actually, I'll just do this. Be gone. Alright, and then let me get from over here. I'm gonna grab from panel 4 the background. Or, well, actually, it looks like 240 is gonna be the page that I want to do this. True, though, those ash stains pop off. I constantly think about the fireplace from, hold on. What was it? It was, yeah, it's the Citizen Kane fireplace. Bro, this scene in this film is insane. Look at this fucking fireplace. Look at him. This shot is so dramatic. I actually love this shot, though, with this, gargoyle. Oh my god. What a fireplace. But yeah, this Citizen Kane fireplace haunts me. It's a good one. Or, there's also this pretty dope fireplace from the Beauty and the Beast film. 1946. It's a pretty good, and it's great because it has these actual actors that are in the fireplace that look around and shit. It's so good. If y'all have not seen the Beauty and the Beast 1946 film, please go watch it. This thing is fucking insane. This movie is insane. But yeah, or Citizen Kane. If you haven't seen either of those films, please do. They're fucking masterpieces of cinema. Like, absolutely amazing stuff. Really good for, like, world building and shot design. Carved out of a mountain. Have you looked at a lot of, like, Tibetan Buddhist temples? Because while they're not castles per se, there are plenty of Tibetan temples that were carved into the mountainside like that, and they're very ornate. And that might be a kind of cool place to start for inspiration. Yep, it's true. That fucking, those bitches be cold. Nobody wants to freeze to death and be extra crispy, you know what I'm saying? Why be crispy when you could be warm? Even Darius lights his fireplaces. He doesn't need to, but he does. I like how we have just Wukong's knee. This is funny to me. I also think, too, like, one of the cooler, it's more futuristic, but one of the cooler, like, carved into a mountainside building designs was from The Incredibles. It was, like, Syndrome's hideout was carved into the mountain. There are plenty of castles built into mountains. Predjama Castle. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. If it's Slovenia, so maybe Predjama. Predjama Castle was built inside the mouth of the cave. That could be a very cool one. Hohenwerfen Castle, also in the Salzach Valley in Austria, is one. Oh, Petra. Yeah, it's not a castle, but Petra. That's an amazing one. Yeah, Petra in Jordan. That's a good one. This is an insane... This is a temple. But this is an insane building. Yeah, Tess, yes! We were on the same page at the same time. Yeah, seriously, Petra. That's a good one. Castello di Andras is an Italian castle. It's in the Dolomites. Rennstein Castle in Germany. Yeah, if you Google castles built into mountains, you'll get a lot of very cool castles. History Hit also has an article called 10 Majestic Ancient Structures Carved into Mountains that might be helpful. This gal is like, help! I'm gonna just do this a little bit. Duplicate and flip. Drag it around. Bring it around town. Wow, did I draw eyeballs exactly in the center for once in my life? No way. Oh, gotcha, so we balkanized. Yeah, it depends on, like... I guess truly, like... what architecture inspiration you have, because more often than not, like, you know, I do think about, because this is Syndrome's hideout from The Incredibles, you know, and then it opens down into this amazing, like, lava curtain on the inside, but if you actually look at the map from the top, it is built into a mountain, right? It's a skyscraper that has been built into the side of this crevasse inside this mountain, which is cool. It's Glenn Kim concept art, by the way. Nice map of that, so from an island standpoint, but then you have these very mod portions, because you can see the influence here, where this is like the hello. No, I don't want this PNG. God dang it. This rock here is part of the architecture, but this is still mod. It's still mod deco. This is another great piece of concept art. Their focus was on really big buildings, but again, it's supposed to be reminiscent of the 1950s. So this is mod deco. It's not like lots of, or not 50s, 60s. So it's, yeah, late 50s, early 60s, really. It's just, it's really bubbly, and, I mean, it's pretty reminiscent of when Syndrome grew up. You know, this is a real building that's inspired by that same, architecture, where you have a lot of rocks and stuff inside it, but a lot of, like, modern mod architecture is just built directly into the, mid-century modernism is the term for the architecture for that. So again, it really depends on, like, okay, so if your architecture is based 2,000 years into the future, is it going to look more like the Line, which they're building in Saudi Arabia, where it's very, like, green architecture? You know, everything is covered in plants, and that's the goal. This thing is not supposed to blend into the architecture at all. This thing is like a fucking 75-mile-long city in a reflected mirror that is a line that cuts through the sand. You know, so making that decision of figuring out when was the structure built. Because, like, the reality is, too, is, like, if it was a Victorian structure, unfortunately, God bless the Victorians, but they did not create architecture that was really designed to last. They have a very similar issue that we do, where it's, like, it didn't really work that way. And a lot of, like, castles that we think of were built in the 15th or 16th century. So the Victorians didn't really have castles, and when they built castles, they were building their castles inspired by the 15th and 16th century. So they were effectively trying to play pretend and be medieval kings, was the vibe. You know what I'm saying? So you have to, yeah, think about who the architect was, what their goal was with the structure. Like, was it to make some rich person feel like they can play king on their property? Because that's literally 90% of why they were doing that. And then looking at other solar, I don't want to say solar punk designs, but green movement designs. Like here in Denver, we have this thing called the Canyon Apartments Denver, I think is what it's called. One River North. This thing, One River North. This is a brand new apartment complex in Denver that has trees growing up and down the center of it, like effectively like a cancerous growth is the way that I would describe this. It's a cool building. So thinking about things like that, and it's like, okay, how can I inject this kind of architecture into what I've got going on, might be helpful. But yeah, asking the question of what was the purpose of the building and why was it made can help determine the architectural features. Because, like, that big-ass fireplace in Citizen Kane, for example, is designed intentionally. What's really wild about that particular room in that film, which, again, I would encourage everybody to go and watch it from a symbolic standpoint, but the rest of the room is completely empty. It's empty. And this guy has a massive ego, and the whole fucking video is like a cautionary tale about capitalism, and you watch this guy literally crash out the entire film and destroy his whole life being an asshole to the people around him because he gets so self-absorbed in capitalism. It's really, it's great. It's very relevant. But that being said, you know, it's kind of a commentary on like, man, you have everything in the world, but you have nothing. Your room is fucking empty. You don't have anybody to fill it. Your wife doesn't want to be with you anymore. So, you know, when you're alone in this room, all you have is your big fucking fireplace that can effectively eat you alive and nothing else in it because you're like, you're hollow. Your life is hollow. You know, your life is very empty. Those kinds of things. And the fireplace is supposed to look like a mouth. You know, that's the whole goal is to inject that level of symbolism inside that. You have to think like the guy that wrote The Great Gatsby. You have to like really ask yourself like, what the fuck does this building mean? You know, what is it here for? And why do we care? Because then that's how you turn architecture into art, I guess. Yeah, because if it was a bunker, it's going to look not very pretty on the outside, would be effectively my thought. It's going to look very similar to the Saudi Arabian line, where the line has effectively mirror solar panels on the outside that reflect literally everything. People are very worried that it's going to, like, make global warming bad. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on the science on that one, but that's how that building theoretically is supposed to work. But, you know, I have designed, like, Sageno, for Court of Snakes to be really similar, where it's supposed to be a bunker. It's hyper defensible, relatively sustainable, because the guy wanted to create effectively a fucking 1960s racism playground that he could sustain for until he was dead, and until maybe his kids are dead. But he wasn't planning on having it last for thousands of years. That was not his goal. He wanted to effectively create racist Disneyland for himself to live in until he died. And it did manage to sustain longer because they had security teams on the outside that were continuing to sustain the building from the outside, you know, like tech support experts effectively to keep this fucking racist prison running. So knowing that, it's like, okay, if it was supposed to be a bunker, probably the outside is not going to look super great. Because you have to be able to create things with, like, nuclear blast resistant technology and things that are going to actually, like, not collapse, if that makes sense. But then the inside can be a completely different story where it could be aesthetically pleasing. Like, the guy that built Sageno was really into, New Mexican architecture, and built all of his buildings to be, again, hyper sustainable. So they're like all made out of Adobe, which the that one hotel in Denver, or not hotel, apartment complex in Denver also has a lot of stucco and Adobe on it because it reflects light really, really well as a material. It makes it easy to kind of operate and not be a total electricity hog. But that's another tricky issue with Victorian, or, like, quote, pseudo-Victorian stuff, is that true Victorian architecture was not sustainable at all. It's like, it was really bad, actually, for the environment. So it kind of depends on, when it was made, because if it was made in the 80s, too, that's another thing to take into account as well, is if this thing was designed in the 80s as a bunker, unfortunately, our understanding of materials was really not that great. Because, of course, you know, I'm theorizing, at least from what it sounds like, if you're saying 80s, in my mind, the timeline goes, the Cold War actually is successful, not on our end, but on the Soviets' end. The Soviet Union doesn't collapse. The world is launched into a global nuclear war, right? That's at least, like, the vibe. That's where my brain would go. But yeah, I don't know. That's entirely up to you. Like, At that point, if people are like, because what you're getting into now is effectively speculative architecture. So again, it depends on what your people value, because again, for the Victorians, they wanted to play king, right? I want to be king. So I'm going to build a medieval castle for me to sit in. Like I think about Glen Erie in Colorado is a good example. That was a castle that was built here in Colorado by a Victorian who built a castle based off of medieval architecture, I think medieval French architecture, so that he could sit on his fucking 75-acre property and be like, oh, I am the richest man in the area. And then just like, that was it. That was all he did. There you go, I guess. So it's like, okay, what ideals, that's really what you're asking yourself about, is what ideals were they chasing? Because is it sustainability? Is it true virtuous architecture where it's like, no, we're building this because we want it to be practical? You know, is it we are chasing an architectural ideal to try and convince ourselves of one thing or another, you know? And so that's the question that you have to ask yourself, is effectively the why. And then that'll give you an idea of the functionality behind it, which will shape the aesthetic of it, in theory, anyway. I forgot. Also, behold. Behold! I don't know if anybody in here is a Star Kid fan, but I think about that a lot. Behold! Yeah, functionality and world building is really important. I teach a world building class on campus, and I think it surprises a lot of students how like the roots of your world really do shape the surface, which is why when we do world building for class, we start with topology, geography, and flora and fauna. And then you build up slowly. Then you add your sentient life form, and then you build up their culture step by step. The first thing that you do is you give them a survival imperative, where it's like, okay, well, what's the number one thing that's trying to kill your little peepos, and how do you keep them alive? Because your culture will develop 100% around that will to survive. And then once you do that, then you can start to build up more complex ideas like religion, art, architecture, culture, family structures, religion, you know, like all of those things. And then eventually the culture will build up in that way. But starting with that survival imperative is really pretty huge, because otherwise it's like your little guys it can be difficult to determine like what that cultural drive is. Because if you can find out the core value of your society, whatever that is, even if you're not starting from ground up, that will determine what the culture is at its core. Like I have the Zomeranians from my hard science fiction that I'm working on, and they for example, their core value is that their goal is to become as much like an AI as possible. They want to replace as much of their bodies as they humanly can, or physically can, I should say, until they are machine. And that's resulted in some really bad shit, but also too, it's resulted in them creating very utilitarian architecture. Like they don't really care about art at all, really. They let their kids make art, but they don't really like let the adults just don't find any joy in making art, if that makes sense. So it's like those kinds of things. Is it's like if your culture doesn't really value art because they're valuing exclusively survival, then that will change how they approach art and architecture. Because a lot of what is going on at the time shapes really what architecture looks like and why. Like a lot of art is made in resistance to stuff. Like I wouldn't be surprised, like if AI continues to do what it does, there's going to be a whole movement of people making humanistic art. We're going to see like a very intense anti-industrialist, effectively, style art movement, probably because of that. So that can determine like what your little guys value and how that impacts the architecture or the art or the culture that they're in. I don't like this, the way his face curves on this side. I'm gonna just bring it out a little bit. But furthermore, this goes like this and that goes like that. No! I don't know if any of y'all have seen Joshua in the Promised Land either, but Monkey Moses lives inside me forever. I live inside you forever. That's one of those things. I'm gonna actually bring... Everybody should also go watch Joshua in the Promised Land because it's really bad. Except maybe don't go watch the whole thing. You could probably go and watch just the recap. Saberspark made a delightful recap of that fucking thing, and just go watch that. You don't have to go and watch the whole thing. As long as you get the gist of Monkey Moses, you're pretty much good to go. Yeah, hopefully all of that makes sense. I know this is like an unnecessarily complicated topic. World building is really crispy. It's like unnecessarily crunchy and technical oftentimes. Group thinking and community. Right, so what they sound like is that it's very utilitarian. And so unfortunately, and this is a question you're going to have to ask yourself, is the utilitarianism that comes with surviving in that way mirrors like certain other architecture that was introduced during certain periods. So for example, I would encourage you to go and check out the architecture that was produced in the 80s in the Soviet Union, particularly in places, abandoned places like Pripyat and other places in Ukraine where there was like, you know, Chernobyl happened and there's a lot of nuclear fallout there. But that will help kind of show like what people build when there is effectively zero resource to do so. And that can be the base of your architecture, but then you now have to ask yourself, is that what their values are now? Like, because if that's not the case now, and there was a flip-flop, because like Victorian architecture is the opposite of utilitarian. Victorian architecture was not designed to be sustainable. It was not designed to be really frivolous, or sorry, it was designed to be frivolous. That's the word that I'm looking for. It was designed to be opulescent. It was designed to make people who could not afford jack shit feel like they were hot shit. It was made with the intention, only in some cases, to mirror the wealth of the trendiest person on the planet, who at the time was Queen Victoria. So knowing that, that's kind of where that gets tricky, is that those two ideals don't necessarily line up in the same way. And there were a lot of utilitarian structures that were built in the Victorian period, for example. But when I think about buildings that were built, for example, during the Victorian period in America, those are like trash log cabins that can barely stand. And they were, again, designed for function and not form. The only time you see beautiful Victorian buildings pop up during that period here in the US is when you have like in Denver. This is a very good example of this. If you go out into places like St. Elmo, that's a mining ghost town. Those guys were building shitty log cabins. They got buried under the snow. It was mostly poor miners that were living there. They did not really have the time to build pretty buildings. But here in Denver off of Broadway, where the wealthy elite lived, those guys were investing money into opulescence because they could afford to do so. So the question is, where are your people now? Because if the foundation was that utilitarian stuff, like Chinese architecture, not like ancient Chinese architecture, but we're talking like Chinese architecture from like the 80s, 90s, 2000s, might also be a good thing to look at, because it's like, okay, these people had to build buildings that sustain millions of people in order to be able to actually get the whole thing together. But then if you have that as the skeleton, then what do you put on top of that skeleton? What do your people value now in the future, since it's set as a solar punk future? Because if they value, for example, plants, then their architecture is just going to be covered in plants. You're not really going to be able to see the architecture, maybe, because at its core, it's really more of a theory of like, oh, well, we just let the plants like fucking overtake everything because we don't care necessarily about the utilitarian structures that are underneath it anymore. It's more about integrating with the earth than it is about overtaking the earth or surviving the earth, which would have been maybe the original guys thought, because it's like, uh-oh, we're gonna die, you know what I mean? Like if they felt like they were gonna totally get bombed, you know, it's like they have to survive. But now they don't have to do that, and they can reintegrate, is really maybe the thought process there, if that makes sense. But yeah, Art Deco is an interesting thing too. It's very utilitarian, but it's utilitarian in a really like elegant way. Chicago, look at Chicago. Their architecture is fucking incredible. They have some of the most amazing buildings in the world, to be honest. They're fucking beautiful. Cleaning up some of these fuzzy edges because they make me sad. Yeah, because you can think about foundationally, like, okay, where were these people and where are they now? Because, like, that's kind of, for me, how Sagano functions in Court of Snakes, where it's like, they had their nice, orderly, beautiful adobe buildings in the beginning, but now, especially in the poorer areas, because people keep having babies, and this place was really only designed to sustain about maybe 20,000 people, it's now massively surpassed that in terms of population growth, and so now we're looking at, like, 60,000 people. All of a sudden, they have these buildings that creep up on themselves like cancerous growths, effectively. And so you have buildings that are being built on top of other buildings and smashed in between other buildings. And you have like buildings from certain periods stuck onto the side of buildings from other periods, you know, so they're not beautiful or organized in any way. It's chaotic. It's just, that's all that there is really to it. You know, so if it's like that, then that also will change as well. So it's a lot to think about. It's a lot of moving pieces, moving parts. Okay, hold on. I gotta open my reference so that I remember what this guy looks like. I don't fucking know what this... This man is creepy. I love walking into a Cheesecake Factory and not know what the fuck is going on. I've only been in a Cheesecake Factory once, and I hated it. I hate that place with a burning passion. That place makes me so angry. Enraged. So you have, like... Why are you... What the fuck? Why is this happening? Oh, zoom all windows is checked. What the fuck is that? Get out of here. Nobody likes you. Let's see, do you have skinny eyebrows? Yeah. Yeah, there's sense to it, but it's an Art Nouveau sense, which means no sense at all. I can't. It's just pain. The goal, I think, is to try and make you feel fancier than you are. But, oh my god. I just don't like it. This guy's so creepy. He is very unfortunate. This guy is not great. You ever see pictures of the Sagrada Familia in Spain? True. True. Shit looks like it's melting. We don't talk about it. Okay, I still think that this guy looks like the guy that's like, it's a momentary setback from the Barbie movies, but I'm not mad about it. I'm literally not even angry. If that's what he has to look like, that's it. That's this man's life now. Yeah, because like when I think slow living, I think of log cabins. You know, because most people are like, oh yeah, Preminger, yeah, that guy. Yeah. That guy from The Princess and the Pauper, I think. Yeah, that dude. We don't talk about him. Yeah, nah, I think of like log cabins and stuff. No, I didn't. No, you're close enough. I know. I don't even know how to spell that guy's name. I don't fucking know. Oh man. This guy has creepy nails and stuff. This guy turns into a demon though, so it tracks. He looks like that, or he looks like the guy from Naja. There's a villain in Naja who's a leopard demon who looks very similar to this guy. This guy is not a leopard demon though. He's very sleek, I'll give him that. He looks like a little pilgrim from this angle, though. He looks like a little Abraham Lincoln knockoff. Oh, I don't want to do my office hours today, y'all. I'm really burned out on teaching, but I can't, like, not. What kind of demon is he? I wanted to give people the opportunity to guess. Nobody guessed it the last time I asked on stream. He is I think, a more uncommon animal for demons. I don't think I've seen it in Chinese fiction at all. But it felt right, given his, like, the animal felt right given his nature. If you can guess it, you get a little star sticker. I'll give everybody 3 guesses, and then I'll tell y'all. I'm making everybody else wait on bated breath. I can never remember what that guy's name is. Cool. No, I'm moving it, messing it up. His name is not Alping. Shen Gongbao. Shen Gongbao is the character. Shen Gongbao. He's cool. He used to be a sorcerer and an immortal, and then he became a demon. I love that character. This guy actually has a super inconsequential role in Heaven's Equal, just all in all. Or not Heaven's Equal, in Journey to the West, just all in all. I'm going to actually give him a really unnecessarily intense collar with lots of triangles on it. Even though this is a little bit fantasy-y. I don't think it'll matter too bad. Mongoose or Ferret is not bad. You're definitely on the right track. It's definitely along the mammalian side of things. But yes, snake demons are quite popular in Chinese myth. You're right. There's a lot of like snake mythology figures as well. Like there's a very popular story called White Snake in Chinese myth. That's a beautiful movie, by the way. If y'all have the chance to see that animated film, holy shit. White Snake and Green Snake, the sequel, is like insane. But nope, that ain't him. Solar Punk Deco might be a good way to go with your castle, because you got gilded opulence, but a bunch of folks cramming into small spaces, because Manhattan! True, though. You're like, get in there. You and the pizza rat. Actually, I'm going to take this corner and we're going to bring it really far out. I'm doing like character design as we go here because I have not thought about this character at all. Ah, bird. Okay, so you guys, if you combine your forces together, you're both very close. This dude does turn into a flying demon, but it's not a bird. Not avian. Y'all are not far off. It's a bat. Yep. It's a fucking bat. Oops. It would have been funny to be a mosquito, but that's some horrifying shit. I don't know if I have the patience to draw a man turning fly style into a horrifying mosquito little man. I don't believe that there are any like insect demons in Chinese myth. I don't think I've encountered them while reading stuff. And I think it has something to do with the fact that they don't think that insects have like a very like high intelligence, and so they can't necessarily like formulate unique thought. But they do believe that animals have a high enough intelligence too if they, as the Buddhists would say, cultivate their conduct for long enough. Then eventually you become smart enough as an animal to effectively evolve like a damn Pokemon into something that can speak. Or do magic in some cases. This guy's an asshole. You don't want to Jeff Goldblum him a little bit? We don't talk about it. Jeff Goldblum, actually, if I could get Jeff Goldblum to be a mean son of a bitch, he would be great to play this character. But I think he's just too damn friendly. Crispin Glover would be great for this dude, too. This dude's not even good at business. This dude's like the Elon Musk of, like, murderers. He, like, can't even do his own murder right. He has to, like, get other people to do it. And then he crashes the company. Yeah, sure. Yeah, because effectively actually, before I do this, the more, like, demon you are, the less human you look. So I have some pretty funky demon designs from the early parts of the comic, and I'm sure people are like, well, where did those designs go? And it's like, just wait. Because I wanted to show the worst case scenario first, and then now we're going to slowly watch people do really weird shit with their bodies, effectively. It's a little bit body horror-y. Oh yeah, he was Zeus in Chaos. I actually didn't watch that. You're like, in terms of accuracy, F. Be me. All you try to do is stay me. Honestly, though, Michael C. Hall would actually probably be good at this guy. We were talking about Michael C. Hall recently. Or, you know what, actually, you know who I would throw into this shit in a heartbeat? Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah, the cheekbones are everything for me. Tom Felton would be kind of fun, too. I don't know if he's still acting. Okay, so let's see. In this page, or in this panel... Oh, or you know what? You know who else would be super good? Who plays fucking Firelord Ozai? In the live action. Daniel Day Kim. Whoo! That guy would fucking kick ass as this role. Oh my god, he'd do so good. Ooh, yeah, I just need somebody with, like, the world's best cheekbones, effectively, is the goal here. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can find something on Pexels that'll do it for me. I'm gonna see if I can get fancy black car. But I need somebody getting into it. Like, I need a chauffeur. How does one spell chauffeur? Je ne parle français. Okay, that's all I have to say. Oh, this guy's good. Oh, fuck yeah. I love it when I find exactly the thing that I need. All right, cool. So now, new. Create. Paste. Show contextual taskbar. Select subject. Oh my god, can it do it? Can we make it happen? I don't know if I know Nicola Coulin. I always have difficulty, like, fan casting my own stuff. Do I want generative fill? Absolutely the fuck not, Photoshop. Get away from me. I don't want to use your shitty AI. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Oh my god. Go away. Okay. Oh my god, that was almost a fucking time. Wow. Get out of here. No. Why are you opening Bridge? What the fuck is wrong with you? It got angry at me, so it opened Bridge. I love that. Go away. Oh my god. Oh, Oscar Isaac's an amazing actor. Holy shit. Ugh. Talk about an incredible actor. She was in Bridgerton. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've not seen Bridgerton. Okay, cool. So now we have our little car. And then I'm going to go... I don't really need this guy anymore. I might need him later. I don't need that. I don't think I need... I will for scale. Pedro Pascal can do anything he wants, in my opinion. He's got great range, though. Okay, Wendy House. And then we're gonna throw this in here. And then we're gonna go like this. And then we're gonna go like... I don't know what chair means. What do you mean, chair? Like, I understand chair, but what do you mean? What are you trying to tell me with chair? Okay, and then I'm gonna probably paint the guy black, just all black. Alright, hold on, I gotta get through sending these things to my backers. There we go. Oh. He'd be playing yet another father figure trying to get his surrogate child to safety, and who am I to deny that? Can you imagine? Alright, cool. Now the question is... Oh, there's the harmonize feature. Let's see what this does. I'm curious. Do you work good? Are you a tool that actually fucking works? Or are you garbage? Garbage, maybe. Garbage, baby. Oh, that's kind of nice. Let's see. Which is the most believable shadow? Second one. You know, not bad. Now let's go in and fix. Oh, except I'm a big old dummy. You want to know why? Because I dragged this into the wrong layer because I'm a silly Billy. Let's try this again, shall we? Let me select this, and we're going to delete that, and then we're going to go here, and then we're going to do this again. How much of a twink? You're like, I need answers. Yeah, true. Tom Felton is good. Robert Pattinson is also good. Yeah, he's good. Okay, that's ass. Why are you producing such a reflect? Oh, okay, well that one's not bad. Bro, please. I don't need generative expand, you demon. I just needed you to do what I needed you to do. Hello? Hello? Yeah, that's what I thought. You little garbage man. You little trash man. Okay. Robert Pattinson was like, can I beat the shit out of everyone as Batman? He was like, time to die. And everyone was like, oh my god. Foot. And then let me grab this guy again. I just want these sons of bitches again. Come here, guys. Come here, guys. Am I lazy? Maybe. Do I want to draw all these dudes? Absolutely not. Whee! They're just huge. Can you imagine? Put them behind the car. This is where these guys go. Goodbye. And then we go like this, and then we go like this. And then he gets into the car. Excellent. Actually, this is panel 4. This one's panel 5. And this one is panel 6. Okay, unfortunately, I don't have that much time left, so I don't think I'm going to be able to actually finish these pieces here, which is a shame. But you know what? I might actually have this go like this and cut through these two panels. Anything is possible here. I'm going to save this, though. So I guess I'll get working on that next week. But I did finish this panel, and that's what matters. So we got at least one done. Another one is on its way. So, hooray! Yay! Yay! But yeah, thank you to everybody who hung out. I appreciate you. And I will be back on Monday to do, or am I going to be back on Monday? Hold on, let me figure that out. Hold on, what are we doing on Monday? Yeah, I'll be back on Monday to do illustrations for Court of Snakes because I need to do that real bad. And I need to catch up on illustrations. So I'm going to do that later. In the meantime, I'm going to try and actually get shit done and write tonight. So that's going to be my goal, is to try and catch up on Draftvember. And then I got to update all my prompts and things like that. So wish me luck on that. But I hope everybody has a good rest of your evening. And I hopefully will see you all soon. I'll be at a convention all weekend, so if you are in the area and you have time to swing by DokuCon, you totally should. It's in the same convention that Mile High Con was at, or the same hotel. So if you want to come and say hi, I will be there doing silly shit. But I hope that everybody has a good rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.